Welcome to Focus on Pre-K. I'm Abby Morales from the Boston Public Schools. David Ramsey and I will be leading you through the different modules of this online course. If you attended the BPS conference this spring, you'll remember that the Focus on Pre-K curriculum has 4 guiding principles. The first principle is that young children are capable of higher order complex thinking. The second principle is that children are active agents in their learning. Third, that meaningful knowledge is constructed through robust interaction and high engagement. Fourth, that instruction is impactful when teachers are researchers of their classroom. These principles guide the instructional practices in focus, which are integration, less whole group, more small group, facilitation of learning, and differentiated instruction. What's the difference between a guiding principle and an instructional practice? A principle is implicit, meaning it's an inner assumption and belief about children and teaching and learning. An instructional practice is explicit. It's something you can see a teacher doing. You may also refer to these as teacher moves because it is tangible, it can be identified, developed, and measured for quality. Guiding principles and instructional practices should be viscerally experienced by children and families from the very first day of school. Let's stop and think. Why is it so important to have guiding principles and instructional practices as part of the curriculum? One thing that is important to notice is that the relationship between principles and practices is dynamic, not static. In this graphic, the guiding principle of children are active agents in their learning seems to line up with the instructional practice of integration. However, children as active agents also guides the other 3 practices. In a nutshell, all of the guiding principles can be demonstrated in all of the instructional practices, and all of the instructional practices embody all of the guiding principles. We will continue to point out this relationship through the different sessions. The dynamic nature of Focus on Pre-K means that planning and preparation will look very different from a typical preschool curricula. Instead of marching through a series of generic activities, you will maximize your ability to reflect on and adjust the curriculum so that each child can succeed for each goal. The guiding principles and instructional practices of focus are not only related to each other, they are also correlated to positive child outcomes and 21st century skills. Data consistently show that children who experience Focus on Pre-K outperform children who do not on 3rd grade as well as 5th grade MCAS tests. More specifically, classrooms that implement the curriculum to 70% fidelity, meaning how much of the curriculum is implemented and how well it is implemented, are the ones that yield these positive outcomes. Now, let's take a look at a Focus on Pre-K classroom. Take notes as you watch the video of any evidence of the instructional practices and guiding principles and the relationship between them. After you watch the video, don't forget to complete the check for understanding.